Yun yung importante ho no? But just the same, Your Honor, no? Sa AMLA, gusto ko lang maintindihan, how itong mga secrecy laws obstructed your work, paano nahahamper para ito, ako nga ho, na binabanggit ko na yung sarili ko, I am pushing for this particular measure. Paano nahahamper? How long does it take po ba for AMLA na sinasabi na the only way you can do this and that is you have to wait for court orders, etc. Sir, please, just for the record.
Yeah. Actually, Mr. Chair, 1405% of the bank secrecy law doesn't affect the power of the MLC to look into deposits because the AMLA specifically says that notwithstanding the provision of 1405 and the Foreign Currency Deposit Act, we can look into, although the limitation is our move should be in relation to the unlawful activity, investigation of money laundering, based on the listed unlawful activity, which is now 36. So it doesn't cover all crimes, Mr. Chair. So if there are crimes that are not covered by the AMLA, the 36, then the AMLA has no jurisdiction to look into deposits. That's why, Mr. Chair, we are proposing actually an amendment on the AMLA to increase the scope of unlawful activities.
That's what I'm interested, Your Honor, if you can give us your suggestions on how we'll be able to make use of these measures at hand here in this committee. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I think I'm looking at our friends from the Department of Migrant Workers. I think we're almost done with. Pero siguro sabay-sabay na rin po tayo, no? If there are any other comments that you'd like to raise sa mga friends natin from PAOK, baka meron po kayong siguro sa PAOK po, no? Based on your investigation, how extensive itong links between abusive online lending apps and larger organized crime syndicates, including foreign groups? I remember hearing from PAOK na even yung POGOS dun din pumupunta, yung mga naiwan pang remnants, Your Honor, Director Casio or Attorney Tendero.
Good afternoon po, sir. Actually po, sir, yung regarding sa operation po ng PAOK po regarding sa OLA, kami po ay nakikipag-ugnayan naman po sa mga different agencies katulad po sa SEC, sir, tsaka sa PNP, sa NBI regarding this matter. At may mga operations po kami. Now, regarding po dun sa mga questions po na may connection po to sa POGO dati po, sir, inimbestigahan po namin itong mabuti. Although, dun sa investigation po namin, usually po, yung mga nahuhuli po namin mga nag-ooperate ng mga OLA, mga Chinese din po. But it does not follow po, sir, na may connection po agad sila sa POGO. Kaya, iimbestigahan pa rin po namin. Usually po.
But you're not saying, di ba?
Definitely po, sir. Wala pa po
Still,
assurance whether
yes.
may connection or hindi.
Yes.
Ang sigurado lang po namin na mostly yung nag-ooperate din po ay mga Chinese po.
Mm-hmm. And what about the connection to online gambling activities? Ito ba may direct connection? May nakikita na po kayo?
Wala pa rin po kami nakikita, sir, at ongoing pa rin po yung pag-iimbestiga po namin. In fact, patuloy po kami nakikipag-coordinate naman po sa mga intelligence agencies po natin, kahit po sa MIG, regarding this matter po.
Siguro yung last na, no? If there are existing laws on cyber harassment, extortion, and unauthorized debt collection, kung adequate na itong mga batas natin to prosecute abusive online lending apps, and if not, which provisions are most lacking, and if there are anything that you would like to propose in pushing for this particular measure, Your Honors?
Yes, sir. Ang nakikita po namin dito, kasi may mga existing mga batas naman po tayo na nagagamit po namin, katulad po nung may hinuli po kami dun sa yung last operation po namin, nakapag-file naman po yung NBI ng mga kaso using yung data privacy law, tapos yung sinabi na sa ano natin na yung financial financial secrecy. Kapasa siya, yes sir. At all other laws po na in connection dito na pinail po namin. Ngayon po, ang siguro po may propose na lang po namin yung paigtingin na lang po siguro sir mo o lalo yung mga batas na to, dagdagan po siguro po natin na mas mahigpit na penalty po at ang lalo po namin nakikita na makakapag pigil po nito yung paggamit po ng SIM. Sa SIM card pa rin po. Kasi kapag nahigpitan po natin yung paggamit ng SIM, ibig sabihin yung ano po talaga natin na regulated po yung paggamit ng SIM natin, medyo i-stop po to. Kasi yung mga nanloloko po sir gumagamit ng SIM na yung mga SIM card na yun hindi naman po totoo. Tapos pagkatapos po nila mangharas, pwede po nilang sirain kaagad. So kung magkakaroon po tayo ng strict implementation sa SIM card, ito po yung isa po na nakikita po namin po sir.
Thank you. Thank you. You want to add something, sir? Secretary, Commissioner, if you want to add something, please.
Salamat po, Mr. Chairman, Your Honor. Actually po, yung binanggit na rin lang po yung sa Bank Secrecy Act. Yun naman pong Bank Secrecy Act. Kasi po ako ay galing sa private sector. I was the lawyer of Smart Communications since 1998 at nabanggit nga po yung SIM card. Ni-require po ang registration ng SIM cards. Pero hindi naman po kinontrol kung ilan ang pwede mong mabili na SIM cards. Nakadiscover po kami sa mga raid namin with PAOK na meron pong isang machine na pwedeng ilagay mo ang 1,000 SIM cards at yun ang iba't ibang number. So, ang ginagawa po itong mga cellphone companies, pinababayaan na isang tao mag-register ng mahigit sa 2 na SIM card. Siguro naman po, very doubtful kung ang isang tao ay magre-register ng mahigit sa 3 SIM cards. Bakit naman kailangan mo mahigit sa 3 SIM cards? Siguro po dyan, kailangan po ang amendment ng batas natin sa SIM Registration Act wherein it will be prohibited or kailangan i-explain mo kung bakit kailangan mag-register ka ng 5-10 SIM cards. Sabi nga po ng PAOK, ito ang pinanggagalingan ng scam. So actually, we called Smart and Globe and dito to get their cooperation na bantayan itong mga registration ng SIM cards. Pero mas mabuti po, magkaroon tayo ng amendments sa batas dun sa SIM Registration Act na kailangan higpitan ang pagre-register. Magiging kaduda-duda na po pag ang isang tao ay kailangan ang mahigit na sa 3 o 5 SIM cards na naka-register sa pangalan niya. Salamat po.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll take note of that. At siguro yung isa pang nais nating banggitin, wala namang overlapping or gaps sa mga charters and mandates po ninyo. With regard, for example, dito sa regulatory oversight natin dito sa mga online lending apps. And I'm sure BSP is also monitoring itong mga lending activities na ito, and that only properly registered and authorized financial institutions engage in digital lending. Binanggit kanina ng SEC, overwhelmingly, yung mga not registered, sila yung mga talagang in the forefront nitong mga scams na ito. And yung role of BSP in playing its role in distinguishing legitimate financial service providers from unregulated online lending apps, nagagawa po natin to ensure that our kababayans, borrowers, can make this distinction also, Your Honor?
Well, I guess if I may speak on behalf of BSP, again, with respect specifically to, I guess, online lending companies and financing companies, I know there's already some kind of discussion ongoing between the SEC and BSP, but of course, that still has to be finalized. I mean, I know it's just an ongoing conversation, but with respect to how to, precisely because of this emergence of these abuses, no, yung sa mga, especially sa mga yung collection practices nila, yung mga unconscionable interest rates that they charge, right? In terms of overlapping of jurisdiction, Mr. Chair, I mean, I'm looking at the charter of the BSP right now, and the BSP is actually, by virtue of an amendment to our BSP charter, I think it's the Amendment of Republic Act 11211, the amendment introduced this paragraph, Mr. Chair, if I may read. As may be determined by the Monetary Board, it shall likewise exercise regulatory and examination powers over money service businesses, credit granting businesses, and payment system operators. I think the reference to credit granting businesses, that at least, no, from where I stand, no, would conceivably include, no, lending and financing companies, because any business that grants credit will now are actually now covered by the additional powers given to us by this amendatory law, no, RA 11211. And that's why, as I said, Mr. Chair, the BSP is willing to cooperate and coordinate with the SEC. Of course, Commissioner Quevedo is my colleague at the UP College of Law. He's my faculty. We're both faculty members, and we definitely are conducting an active discussion now and conversation on how to. Again, the whole idea is to help our consumers, no, financial consumers, so that they will be spared from these abusive collection practices and these unconscionable interest rates that they're being charged, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. No, when you talk about interest rates and lending practices, I look at this case of DBP versus Spouses Arcelia. The Supreme Court ruled that interest rates exceeding 3% per month or 36% per annum could be deemed excessive depending on circumstances. No, and I wanted to remind again our friends from BSP on their assessment of interest rates, and yun nga po, naririnig natin dito itong mga online lending platforms, especially when rates reportedly reach 35 to 50% per month. And at the same time, I look at the minutes of the hearing in Congress last March last year. BSP actually noted that aside from the 3% per month cap on credit cards, there are no other specific limits imposed on market interest rates, which are largely left to market conditions. Pero pag ganito naman na excessive, I hope that we get into the picture and say, oh, that's way too much, no? And I don't know, hindi ko alam if BSP would support setting benchmark interest rate caps or ceilings for OLAs, for online lending apps, similar din doon sa ceiling na binibigay natin sa mga credit cards. Is that possible, sir, Your Honor?
Well, at this point, again, that would require, of course, discussion as to, of course, we need facts, we need data, Mr. Chair. But one thing I can confirm, Mr. Chair, is definitely tinitingnan po natin yan palagi, especially ng Monetary Board po ng BSP, no, kung lumalampas na ba doon sa tamang range, no, yung mga china-charge, no, ng mga ating mga BSP regulated institutions or BSIs. As to whether we're going to impose a cap or not, I mean, that's something that's still subject to further discussion, Mr. Chair. At this point, as I explained earlier, no, the approach we're taking right now is, transparency through disclosure regime. So wherein we require the BSIs to disclose the fees that they charge. And then, of course, that would allow competition to flourish in the market. With, of course, the expectation that that will benefit the consumers because that will force or compel the competing banks, no, to give the best rate, no, to the consumers. But if that is not happening, Mr. Chair, and